Today is August 27th, last week of the month, and I'm going to kind of do an in-depth review of the S&P 500, more so on the S futures chart. Let's get started. I'm actually going to start with a clean chart, as I usually do, get some fresh data here. So starting up with our highest time frame on the monthly. So monthly, I think a lot of this we've seen already, right? Monthly holds a monthly, probably it was this backside of the monthly, holds it, come right here, we came down to test it, we have this monthly right here, which else do we have around here, which is this trend created right here, and then the follow-up trend to right here. Now, this trend, I would say, is the more critical to keep over time. This cycle trend is, basically we can come down here until this area is tested, let's say right here or down here, then we'd be able to like adapt this one out. So for example, this would need to test possibly right here or right here to come down, and then the trend would build along probably like this line right here or somewhere along this at some time in the future. So for this, it's just a cycle trend. It can be used for now. Yes, if we break it, I think would be important. As you know, on lower time frames, as this look, we did go below it, and then we try to get back up of it. But as you can see, on the weekly, we haven't even hard closed it. I mean, this is almost a hard close right here, or closed under it. But even if, let's say, I was gonna give it a little bit more room and adapt it down here, you can adapt it to the next weekly, and that still keeps us well above the trend. On the daily, there is, you can even go down here to adapt to the next one. But even so, there is, one day over here. But we're skipping a time frame, right? We need to hard close on the weekly before we can start to use that. So this is why I don't really use this one or consider it, because there's also localized trends inside this area that will be controlling the move, not specifically this one. Even if this does, we could potentially, come under trend for months and then still regain it and keep going, which would just make this being adapted out somewhere. So yeah, so this is, I don't really keep this one on my chart. I'm going back to the monthly. So let's see what happened. Towards we closed the weekly candle last week. The weekly hold was right here. I'm just gonna draw out my levels on the weekly right there. On the bottom side, there's the monthly. Here's the weekly. The weekly also got tested right there, but we did do this deep dive, which actually is all the way down to, as I wrote out before, this is down to the daily. We called this one out previously. So daily right here, this weekly in the future could hold, as we actually perhaps not. It's possible not. We broke this right here. If we come back, I think we need to land on this or on the monthly to keep this move going up. But for now, I'm going to just continue on the bottom side. So of this daily, we have this weekly that is broken right here or tested. This deep dives, I think this could be something in the future. The monthly, I'm not using that for now. And on the top side, we have this weekly, which we closed into. We have the rejection of the weekly right here, which has not been touched, and so far looks possibly in failure. So we'll have to see if this, I think this week, just looking at the weekly chart, we close a red weekly candle, and then we next week into September maybe try to reclaim it or try to hit this one more time. There's also the weekly break right here. So this is, our high, and likely we don't want to go above that. Okay, so there's our weeklies. That's kind of moving down to the dailies. Well, basically, because we had a daily down here, I'm looking at this to start building. Okay, so we hit a daily on here, we know that before that. And then on the top, there is the daily up here, which I kind of want to consider, I almost want to consider it hit, but at the same time, no, because it didn't hit exact. What did hit which I actually called out during the week, was this 4-hour backside. This 4-hour right here. This one hits really nice and perfect. So I'd say that's kind of more this greedy part. And then so that's telling, that kind of lines up as well. So if we look at the bottom, right, we're going from time frame to time frame, from daily. Daily here needs to start to build on the 4. So we build this 4. I'm going to trace it, right? 4-hour, 4-hour right here. This breaks over it, creates this, this backside, and then you have this front side that's still not touched. This also breaks over it right here, and does this test? So we go up, we test to perhaps right here, and this looks now nice and clean. That's where we are. We have this one. We created the 4-hour trend right here. This was really important, and this is what we're currently battling, right? So we moved the move up, and now we're kind of after trend. Went up, hit a 4-hour backside, protecting, well, basically 4-hour backside protecting the daily. So ideally, we don't want to hit the daily if we're in for short, in which I believe this is a potential top, in my opinion, and perhaps at least for the time being, and we have to kind of use this as a range in the future of moving up and down until we make a decision to break down or up, or at least until, it could be as long as even waiting until we get to this trend. There is a weekly trend over here that we can also use. This weekly trend can be used. And again, just going back to the weekly, we have to see how we end up here. I think this is our range. If we lose this weekly, that's when we start to test these lower ones. But we're still far from that for at least, maybe need another week or two. So back to where we are currently. So we hit a 4-hour backside, and this also has a 4-hour, or this backside right here created a 4-hour origin, which tested and failed to hard close, right? So 4-hour origin came up, test the backside, fails to hard close. Also creates a nice 4-hour right here. This creates a nice 4-hour right here, which would be my expectation for it to hold. It would be nice to see a 4-hour hard close down here. However, it's not totally necessary. I want to see this trend break. I'd like to see a hard close so we can confirm that this trend is broken. Otherwise, we could just keep coming up and try to get back above there. This 4-hour right here is I think a pretty obvious area where some short pressure could come in to hold it down. This trend on the 4-hour, it's technically, I'd say we broken it, and perhaps we're now just heading back up for a back test. I think that could very well be the case. So I'm looking at one, where is this? What's the level in here? What's the short? So let's take a look. So there's the 4-hour, there's this hourly, and there is the 4-hour hourly front side right here. Let's see, now we have a 15-minute. 15-minute right here. That breaks over, creates this 15-minute. We have a 15-minute right there, but it's still above the hourly, so I don't think this will do anything. So you have this hourly, which is also a 15, and you have this backside. So this hourly that's also in a 15 could be a good candidate. Going down below, you have this 15 on the back, below this, and this on the front. So let's just mark, I'm going to mark these, see what we have inside here. Is there an hourly origin created? So you have this possible as well. Oh, this is on the 15. Is there on the hourly? Did I miss it? No. So on 15, I have this to possibly even that. For now, I think this could be it. 5. So under here, that hits there. This is the maybe greediest 5 right here, but that doesn't get tested right there. So I think this 15. But if we're just if I'm following the logic flow of what's going on, right? So we went from daily to 4-hour, right? So this is basically I would say this is perhaps the level that's going to hold it. We have a ladder down. We did try to do that. It did create this. We came down below it, created this 5-minute hold right here. This essentially creating a bit of a 5-minute trend and breaking out right now. So I think we don't get past the origin. I'd like to say this is the most, I like this level the most. Maybe I think we come up past the 4, get to this hourly. There are these deeper levels as well, but ideally want to see this hit more so, or even maybe the backside over here, because we did. So we did when we went. We did one thing. Also, I'm seeing here is that as we did come down and we came back up, we did hit the hourly, the back. So if we're hitting hourly on the back, we probably are going for hourly on the front, which would be this one. So I'm going to get rid of this, and that lines up with the origin and could go into the 4, go to the 1, hold the 4, and then we can drop from there. That could be, I think, a scenario I'm looking at. I think we get above that, then yeah, we'll have to reassess at that time. So where could we go? So if we hit the origin, so this actually turns out, as this is an confirmed origin, this actually behaves now as a daily. So if we are hitting a daily and going to have that deep rejection off a daily level, where would we go? So I'm going to start looking at the daily on the bottom side for hints. So this right here came back and hit this daily back over here, which is technically the back side, right? And if this is the back side, this would be the front side. So this is being the back, this is next in line to come and hit ideally perfectly, which lines up at 5,600. And that would mean we come to the weekly. That means we get to the weekly, perhaps try to test this. Depending if the weekly holds it and we can't test this, then I would imagine the top breaks. We get down here to the daily, then I believe that perhaps try to attempt this daily. And by that time, we'll have to see what gets created in here and if something else in here can ladder and hold it. Right, so that's what I'm looking at. But let's kind of look at where the daily goes. So this daily, does it go into any 4 hours? Yes. So the daily gets attacked by this. So we need to, ideally this wants to be reclaimed right here. This creates kind of this 4-hour to get above it and hard close. That needs to happen, right, which again lines up with basically a lot of these levels up here. There's a lot of the 15 minutes and kind of line up right there. So if there's a ladder down here, we can see this big wick ladders something from down here. So let's take a look. If we're looking at hourlies right now, then this origin behaves as the daily, but internally is an hourly. So if it is an hourly, then I'm looking for the daily hourly kind of confluence down here. That means, there we go. So it's daily, creates this hourly. Hourly comes down, gets held right here by trend, create, and this hourly. Although this breaks, you could even use this backside, this one. This is pretty much trend. I would say this comes here, ladders to creates an hourly. So actually, this is not even valid because it just broke right through. What held it here was trend. Trend, 4-hour trend creates this hourly all the way to the top. On the back, comes back up, tests it, deep dives it to the front side of it, okay, right here. And then your next ladder would be, so we have this, we're just going to leave this for right now. And then your next point would be creating this, which does hard close right here, meaning that does hard close, meaning I have possibly a origin starting to be developed right here. And that would be off of this. So, okay, so 5,600. Yeah, we would need, I think we come back, test, look at a daily here. Since this is already tested, and is this broken? No, so you have possible here. This could create origin down here. This looks like it's possibly creating something. This is on the hourly. Is there anything with 15 that I missed? So this is just on the hourly. So this could also be creating origin. So that right here hits, creates this hourly. We start to gain it. We create an hourly trend, which actually should be on the 15. As that comes back test to right here, create this 15-minute. I'm not sure if I like that because I just kind of crossed there. Well, we can kind of, not sure if I want to use this one. It's just the way this developed into trend, not very, I just don't like it. It's the way this wicked below it. It should not have wicked below that and held above it. So I think we have to wait a little bit longer to see what develops here. The 1 hour, it could be the 1 hour. Actually, you could be this to this, could be using this actually. So this, we have to hard close this. So this lands on right here, closes to right here, and then closes to the 15-minute right here. So we have a 15-minute trend. What holds down a 15-minute trend has to be a 15-minute backside. So since we're looking at this 15-minute trend, I think we have quite a lot of spots here, right? So to this hourly right here that I marked, I'm going to start deleting some levels. So this is used. We have the 4 hour, which we haven't yet gotten a hard close yet. For that, we have this. I'm going to go back and mark this just to make sure we didn't miss something. So I'm looking for really strong 15-minute. 15-minute right there. This is an hour. We have this 15-minute, which aligns with the hourly again and is a backside. And I'd say this is the front side of that, since these kind of line up. I think this kind of going back to the area of what I think could do this, or basically we're looking at the origin level to hold. And if we get there using this trend, this is what should break it down. And that should create, I think this creates for 4 hour loss, the 4 hour hard close to lose this trend. And perhaps starting to move down, or possibly not, right? This has to hold over time. We could just box between here for a while. But that's, I guess time will tell in that respect. So we also have something else I did see here, which was there is a 4 hour trend right here. I don't quite like it too much on the 4 hour. Let's see how it works out. So because this tests to right here, tests to right here, closes to here, closes to right here, it doesn't quite hard close this, which is what I don't really like about it. This does close to right here. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this exactly. But the only thing about this is that I look at the 12-hour chart, doesn't always the best for accuracy. There is this trend. So I do have this, I am going to mark this one because I think this could be where we land at some point down here to revisit trend. So I'm going to keep that there. Okay, so I think that's for right now, what to look out for. I think the next step down here also is this hourly to do something. Maybe, I don't know, it depends. I don't see this 15 could hold it still, which lines up maybe with this hourly. Could be next. It didn't really this hasn't really. This could act as a with a reverse level. Could one of those levels that just keep holding over time. So I'm gonna keep that right. I'm gonna mark this one. This could be reverse. This could just hold over time, and that maybe one more test and then move up. So that about does it. I think one other thing I did not write out was the 4 hour trend up top. So being that you hit the 4 hour backside, that means this created a 4 hour trend right here. And it actually works out really nice. So you got from this top to closing to right here, closing to about right there. This tries to gain it, fails to hard close it, dumps it down, should come back test, and we continue in this fudge right here until one of the top or the bottom gives out, and then we will consider looking at these deeper levels down here, which to me still seems like a very good chance or probability. That would mean if we do that, we'd be going for the weekly trend, and by that time, I believe we will have a better confirmation of this weekly trend that seems to be developing. So we'll have to see how that works. For now, I can't really draw this one. Okay, that's it for now. See you later.